For this next story, we're going to take a glimpse back in time so that you can understand why we are where we are today. I remember it like it was just yesterday. Just like it was yesterday. In the Democrat primary in 2020, Andrew Yang was one of the contestants, one of the candidates that was running for president at that point in time. And he had this phrase called math. And he delivered a stern warning to people about what was to come. This is a little over 6 years ago, but I'll tell you, this explains why we are where we're at now with the news that was just dropped today.
Yang, your signature policy is to give every adult in the United States $1,000 a month, no questions asked.
That's right.
I think that's like $3.2 trillion a year. How would you do that?
Sorry?
How would you do that?
Oh, so it's difficult to do if you have companies like Amazon, trillion-dollar tech companies paying literally zero in taxes while they're closing 30% of our stores. Now, we need to put the American people in position to benefit from all these innovations in other parts of the economy. And if we had a value-added tax at even half the European level, it would generate over $800 billion in new revenue, which combined with the money in our hands, it would be the trickle-up economy from our people, families, and communities up. We would spend the money and it would circulate through our regional economies and neighborhoods, creating millions of jobs, making our families stronger and healthier. We'd save money on things like incarceration, homelessness services, emergency room health care, and just the value gains from having a stronger, healthier, mentally healthier population would increase GDP by $700 billion. This is the move that we have to make, particularly as technology is now automating away millions of American jobs. It's why Donald Trump is our president today, that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on through the economy.
This was a stern warning from Andrew Yang in 2020 about what was to come. When he said this at that time, I thought that this would happen, but not as soon as it's happening.
Get you understand a little bit better. So you're saying $1,000 a month for everyone over 18, but a value-added tax, so you can spend that $1,000 on value-added tax?
Well, the value-added tax would end up, you'd still be increasing the buying power of the bottom 94% of Americans. You have to spend a lot of money for a mild value-add tax to eat up $12,000 a year per individual. So for the average family with 2 or 3 adults, it'd be $24,000 to $36,000 a year.
Okay.
That was one warning there from Andrew Yang. He even tried to explain this to, of all people, Elizabeth Warren, about what was to come during that Dem primary.
Senator Warren, I've been talking to Americans around the country about automation, and they're smart. They see what's happening around them. Their Main Street stores are closing. They see a self-serve kiosk in every McDonald's, every grocery store, every CVS. Driving a truck is the most common job in 29 states, including this one. 3.5 million truck drivers in this country, and my friends in California are piloting self-driving trucks. What is that going to mean for the 3.5 million truckers or the 7 million Americans who work in truck stops, motels, and diners that rely upon the truckers getting out and having a meal? Saying this is a rules problem is ignoring the reality that Americans see around us every single day.
Yeah, Andrew Yang called it. And, you know, I don't think ready to hear it at that point in time, but he was correct. I did not think that this would happen as soon as it is happening. And now we see that Amazon, probably one of the first large companies that I've seen so far to make this announcement. A lot of people are about to lose jobs. If you work at Amazon, if you know someone that works at Amazon, you need to pay attention to what Amazon is doing now.
This morning, concerns that Amazon, the second largest private employer in the country, is planning one of the biggest workplace transformations in modern history.
In a fulfillment center, the Cardinal robot will pack packages into carts.
The New York Times, citing leaked documents, reports Amazon expects sales to double by 2033, growth that would normally require 600,000 more workers. But the company is reportedly looking to fill those jobs with robots and automate 75% of its operations.
We could do this with our robot. We could do this with our technology. That's what we're going to do.
In the near future, Amazon reportedly estimates automation could help it save more than $12 billion and shave about 30 cents off each item it ships. In a statement, Amazon said the leaked documents reflect the perspective of just one team and don't represent our overall hiring strategy, adding that the company is actively hiring and plans to fill 250,000 positions for the holiday season.
One of the things that
I am very concerned. Amazon, there are a lot of Amazon warehouses throughout the United States. In some towns, an Amazon warehouse is the only employer. Retail stores, for the most part, are starting to disappear. Malls have been closing because a lot of things are being sold through Amazon, right? So we're seeing people lose retail jobs. That's been happening for years. But now it seems as though those Amazon jobs are not going to be guaranteed. For those Amazon workers that do work in the warehouses, this is true when you think about it. A lot of what they do can be automated. And this was my fear. When Chris Smalls organized and unionized the first Amazon warehouse, I was like, hell yeah, here we go. One of the things that I said that needs to be done as a next step, and this is not on Chris, but this is just in general, is worker cooperatives. Unions, I support them, but I always tell you that should never be the final step. That's not the end game. And here's the reason why. Just because you form a union doesn't mean that these jobs still can't be automated. This is why we need more push for worker cooperatives so that you own, as a worker, you own a piece of the company so that you can't be replaced with a robot. And this is the reality that we are facing, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we are headed. We're looking at 600,000 people may lose their jobs because Amazon doesn't want to pay people what they should be paid, and they don't want to give people real benefits either. So now they're going to replace them with robots.
we've been proud of over our 10-year history is the ability to develop robots that work well alongside people.
It comes amid growing fears of technology replacing human workers. The so-called godfather of artificial intelligence has been sounding the alarm.
If I worked in a call center, I'd be terrified. If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
Well, Amazon has said it's busy training human workers for high-paying jobs that will include working with robotics.
This morning,
Nah, man, this is bad. This is really bad. And it's not just Amazon. I'm going to show you another one here as well. But as we get into the details here, New York Times also covered this. Amazon plans to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots. Internal documents show the company has changed how people shop, has a far-reaching plan to automate 75% of its operations. Over the past 2 decades, no company has done more to shape the American workforce than Amazon. In its ascent to become the nation's second largest employer, it has hired hundreds of thousands of warehouse workers, but an army of contract drivers, and pioneered using technology to hire, monitor, and manage employees. Now we jump forward here. Amazon's workforce has more than tripled since 2018 to almost 1.2 million. But Amazon's automation team expects the company can avoid hiring more than 160,000 people in the US it would otherwise need by 2027. That would save about 30 cents on each item that Amazon picks, packs, and delivers to customers. Executives told Amazon's board last year they hoped robotic automation would allow the company to continue to avoid adding to its U.S. workforce in the coming years, even though they expect to sell twice as many products by 2033. That would translate to more than 600,000 people Amazon will no longer need. And listen, I'm not afraid to say I was wrong. Andrew Yang was right about this. I didn't think this would happen as soon as it is. And it's not just Amazon. Check this out. Goldman Sachs is rolling out an internal AI assistant to 10,000 staff for drafting, summarizing, code translation, with plans to scale across the firm. Leaders say the end goal is an agentic coworker that behaves like a GS employee rather than a simple chat bot. The first wave focuses on email summarization, proofreading, and translating code between languages to speed repetitive work. The AI agentic can plan a sequence, call tools, and take steps to finish a task on a user's behalf, not just an answer prompt. Goldman Chief Information Officer Marco Agenti says the system should learn to check its own work and absorb the firm's style over time. Look at this here. Analysts expect automation to reshape staffing, with Bloomberg Intelligence projecting up to 200,000 bank jobs at risk as routine tasks get absorbed by AI. So for the bankers, Goldman Sachs starts process of replacing bankers with AI. Now we're seeing it's getting to this point. Listen, people are really safe. And I'm going to say something else here. If you're a receptionist, just some of the jobs I can think of, automatically that can be easily automated. Coders, receptionists, they mentioned paralegal even in that other Amazon video. I'm thinking about data analyst, some of the admin jobs, admin assistant, executive assistant. Like some of these things can just be automated. I mean, it's really going to get to a point where you can't point to someone and say, you shouldn't have majored in that in college. You should have chosen a different major. Because none of these jobs, especially a lot of the admin jobs, they're not really safe. Not even the blue collar jobs, like the warehouse jobs, they're not safe. And this is why when people said, well, if Trump gets the illegal immigrants out, that'll open up jobs for us. What do you remember me saying after that? I said, what makes you think that these employers are not just going to find another way to have cheaper labor? And here we are. They still don't want to pay people living wage. They don't want to give them full benefits. So they'll use AI. I'd tell you to boycott, maybe boycott these places or whatever. But I don't know if that's even going to help with the situation. This is something that's just going to happen at some point in time. And it's something that we do have to prepare ourselves for. Debris here says, budgeting is not going to fix $2,500 rent and $25 an hour jobs. Wrap it up. That's funny. He used the picture here of Snoop. But this is a good point, right? So when we talk about taking our power back, how do we fix this situation, right? Because AI it's already happening, is going to happen. There's only so much we can do about that. However, this is where mutual aid is going to be important. People are going to lose jobs. People are still losing jobs. I have a friend I know right now that's been looking for a job for 6 months since they got laid off. And we're in the Boston area, Massachusetts. You think it's easy? Come try your luck. I think it's even harder when you get laid off to find another job. They thought they would have another job by August. They still been looking for work. It's not easy out here. And this is where building dual power is really going to come in, right? We talk about taking our power back. That's where the mutual aid comes in. When people lose these jobs, people still have to pay their rent. People still have to get groceries. They have to take care of their families. And this is where, one of the things we learned from the Black Panthers is they were there for each other as a community. So when those things happen, they would take care of each other. Now more than ever, we need to establish mutual aid systems in this country, more of them. There are some of them. I do mutual aid. There are other mutual aid chapters. My comrade JB Font does mutual aid as well. I'm from RBN, and of course, Rome, who taught us how to do it. Rome's been doing it for years. And I'm here to tell you, with everything happening with the SNAP benefits, there are already a couple of states that they're not going to be able to fix this issue. Missouri is one of them, from what I understand, and Pennsylvania, which I told you about a couple of days ago. People are going to need food. people are going to need help. And so if you want to do mutual aid, but you don't know how to do it, you can come to my workshop. Corey, can you sign into this? Erica, Corey, can you sign into this newsletter? You know how this thing goes. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. All right, thank you. You can come to my workshop this Saturday. The way that you attend this is you need to sign up for my Substack newsletter so you can get this, because this is where I send the Zoom link. The mutual aid workshop is this Saturday, October 25th at 11 a.m. ET. When you sign up for my Substack, you'll get this email that you see here. You'll see this newsletter. Now, I already sent it to people. I've been sending it a couple times a week. The next time I send this will be Friday afternoon. Okay? If you can't attend this workshop, I do this every month. So monthly thing. It's free. You can sit right there in your jammies and turn your camera off. You don't have to take notes. I record it and then I send the recording to you. So this is really crucial, you guys. We have to build dual power, and we have to get more people doing mutual aid, whether it's whatever you know how to do. And I'll explain this in the workshop. I go through all of this. My comrade JB Font will be with me this time to co-host it with me so we can talk about our experiences and we can lead you down that path, because I'm going to keep it real with you. Nobody's coming to save us. Not Superman, not Batman, not any man. We have to save each other. And I think if we go back to the old ways of doing things, like building community, the way that our parents grew up, the way our grandparents grew up, I think that we can get there. But we have to go back to building community again. Because let me tell you, today is Amazon and Goldman Sachs. Tomorrow it could be Walmart. What's stopping Walmart from automating those jobs at their warehouse? Think about it. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.